live. This is 8 News Now at noon.
Thanks for joining us on 8 News Now at noon. I'm Nia Wong. Police have found the woman connected to an unconscious toddler rescued in the East Valley. 30-year-old Ashley Smith was arrested for child abuse with attempted murder. The child was found yesterday in a Motel 6 on Boulder Highway. This was near Desert Inn and is now in the hospital. Right now, police have not revealed the relationship between Smith and the child. We now know why longtime paranormal radio host Art Bell died. The Clark County coroner says Bell had multiple prescription drugs in his system, including oxycodone and hydrocodone. The coroner says he also had chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and hypertension. Bell died in his home in Pahrump, the same home he broadcast his show Coast to Coast AM for years. He was 72 years old. Bell's death has been ruled an accident. A local group is calling for justice for Tashi Farmer. Farmer died last spring after former Metro police officer Kenneth Lopera tased, punched, and placed him in an unauthorized chokehold. Last week, a grand jury decided not to indict him. 8 News Now reporter Hector Mejia is live outside City Hall, where some gathered to speak out this morning. Hi, Hector.
Good afternoon, Nia. Just about half an hour ago, the DA's office announced they'll be asking for a public review in this case. Now, the group this morning, it was a small group, but they came out to talk about what they called a big problem, the grand jury's decision to not indict Kenneth Lopera. They brought up the issue this morning before the Las Vegas City Council during an unrelated item on the agenda. The DA's office responded this morning again, saying they will be requesting a public review. In that statement, they said the grand jury, made up of people from the community, did not believe the evidence supported a criminal charge against Kenneth Lopera. Therefore, they cannot proceed with a criminal prosecution. They will, however, ask the county for a police fact-finding review. The group this morning does not represent Tashi Farmer's family, but they said they are in contact with them.
For an officer to literally kill him with his bare hands is insane, and it's not human. A year later, we find out last week that the officer is not going to be indicted in the assassination of Tashi Brown Farmer. Where we stand as a community is that we want the people to understand, the press to understand, and anybody listening, understanding my voice, to understand that we are organizing in this community and we're going to break this system.
The case has sparked national headlines since it happened last spring outside the Venetian. Lopera's arrest report claimed he used a taser, struck Tashi Farmer in the head up to 12 times, and held him in an unapproved chokehold, even after another officer asked him to let go. Farmer was not armed. That fact-finding review is expected to take place in the next 60 days, and it will be a public presentation of the facts surrounding Farmer's death. Reporting live outside Las Vegas City Hall, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
Hector, thank you so much for that report. Caesars Entertainment is on track for a rough day at the stock market. Company stock took a drastic drop during today's second quarter earnings conference. Their CFO told investors that demand in July and August saw some softening. At one point, Caesars shares fell over 24% in trading today before recouping about half the losses. Turning an eye to weather now. Sherry, we're now in August. Is the weather going to get a little bit better?
Well, it depends on what you call better. Usually August is not a lot cooler than July. Right now we've got clouds and sunshine. We started out with more clouds than what we're seeing right now at the noon hour, but you can still see we've got kind of a bank of them off to the east, some southerly breezes, and we still have some humidity out there. We're already getting some heating of the day with low triple digits taking over some neighborhoods right now. 103 in the city, just about 20% humidity around most neighborhoods, so a little less humidity, but also some more heat. And there's enough instability left and moisture after thunderstorms last night to the north of us to still cook up a chance of some thunderstorms, through the day, especially over the higher elevations. It's just a little slow to get started today. Highs will keep climbing through the next several hours, and I think we will see temperatures near 110 for a lot of neighborhoods. So staying hot for the first day of August and right into the weekend. But the air does seem to dry out once we get to the end of the work week and Saturday. And I'll explain all of that with a system pushing into the Pacific Northwest in your full neighborhood, actually your complete Weather Now forecast coming up in just about 10 minutes.
All right, I'll take it, Sherry.
Okay.
Thank you. 4 people are still missing in the devastating car fire near Redding, California. It's now the 7th most destructive wildfire in California history, and it's not the only one. 17 large wildfires are also burning statewide. Maria Villarreal is in Lakeport, California.
Firefighters faced a wall of flames as high as 40 feet tall as winds pushed this new arm of the Mendocino complex fire towards homes.
We had really erratic fire behavior. We had spot fires. We had fire pushing over ridges, down into canyons.
Firefighters worked quickly to put out spot fires, but they were unable to stop the flames from reaching buildings nearby. One homeowner stood shoulder to shoulder with firefighters as the wildfire approached.
It's my house. What else am I going to do? So I try to do everything I can to save it.
While his home was saved, other nearby structures were destroyed.
We can see from the road that there were, whether it was barns, whether it was homes, that there were structures involved in fire.
Farther north, hundreds lost everything.
Oh my gosh!
After the car fire suddenly exploded last week.
Oh my God!
Newly released cell phone video shows the fire's initial fury. 40 people working at this hospital lost their homes, including Dr. Edward Zawanda.
Here we were on this cul-de-sac, this neighborhood, and then we go away, and 2 hours later, it's gone.
As homeowners try to come to grips with their losses, firefighters are bracing for what's turning out to be a relentless fire season.
I don't care where you stand on your opinion of global warming, there's something changing. And we're seeing fires that have never happened in this area before.
These wildfires have taken a major toll on California's firefighting budget. In the month of July alone, $115 million was spent on fighting these fires. That is a quarter of the state's budget for this year alone. Maria Villarreal, CBS News, Lakeport, California.
In Yosemite, the Ferguson fire has parts of the national park closed until at least Sunday. Today, Target announced plans to open up a location on the Strip. The small format location will be located north of the MGM on Las Vegas Boulevard. The company says its design is aimed to fulfill the unique needs of tourists and business travelers, as well as nearby residents. They hope to open up sometime in 2020. Coming up, Metro is looking for the crooks who robbed a local sports store, what they made off with, and the clues detectives are currently working with. And the latest into the 1 October investigation, including the Arizona man accused of selling the ammunition used in the shooting. Those details are on the way on 8 News Now, the Valley.
Injury lawyer Anthony Paglia. You're watching the Valley's news leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swensk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now at noon.
Thousands of dollars worth of jerseys were stolen in the West Valley. It happened at First and Goal near Tropicana and Fort Apache around 5:30 last night. The owner says the thieves ran out of the store and into a large black vehicle with Nevada license plate 222B15. If you have any information, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers. Today, Metro Police is expected to release more evidence related to the 1 October shooting. Meanwhile, a hearing has been scheduled for the Arizona man accused of providing armor-piercing ammunition to 1 October gunman Stephen Paddock. Douglas Haig is expected in court on August 28th. His hearing has been postponed 6 times. Authorities say they found bullets inside Paddock's hotel room at Mandalay Bay, which had Haig's fingerprints on them. Today marks 10 months since the shooting, which means survivors, as well as those who try to help victims, have just 2 months left to apply for the Nevada Victims of Crime program. Money from that program would go to people for medical bills or counseling that isn't covered by insurance. Even if you live outside of Nevada or don't have any eligible expenses at the moment, you're still encouraged to apply before the October 1st deadline. We've posted a link to the application on LasVegasNow.com. And the first day of school is just around the corner for the Clark County School District. Up next, we'll introduce you to some of the new faces helping to fill the massive teacher shortage gap. And Sherry's checking back in with your most accurate neighborhood forecast. Still ahead on 8 News Now.
In stores and start saving today.
You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
The Clark County School District has about 540 teacher vacancies, and we're meeting some of the people who are answering the call.
I taught at Nane Kapona Elementary Special Education for 8 years. This will be my 9th year teaching here.
I had a good experience growing up, and I figure I can give students that same experience, inspire them maybe to become teachers and pass it on to other students.
About 1,000 educators attended an orientation put on by the union representing them. Those teachers are facing an increasing number of challenges in the classroom, from overcrowding to pay and even school safety. But they say they're not discouraged. They just want to help students be successful.
I remember when I started school, you got out your fall sweaters and you got out your fall wardrobe. New teachers here are probably going, this is not like the feeling like
That's
fall
true,
yet.
especially when school is starting so much earlier these days.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, the 13th of August, it's still so hot. It will be for a month or two. We'll still be near triple digits, at least through August. So, kiddos, hope you got the cool wardrobe ready. And the new teachers, if you haven't taught here before and new to the area, you're ready for a lot of hot school days to get started. All right, so the morning we had more clouds, and now we've got fewer clouds and more sunshine, but it's still fairly humid out there. We've got humidity that's close to 20%. Triple digits are showing up, wasting no time. Right there in downtown, it's 104, Aliante's 100, the Strip's 103, Green Valley, Henderson 104, 103 respectively there, 104 Sunrise Manor. And we're looking out at the west side, still in the upper 90s. That's all right. Let's see if we can, I wish we could stay there, but I have a feeling just about everybody's going to hit triple digits. 98 at Red Rock, 103 in Pahrump, 106 in Laughlin. Look at Mesquite, hot at 105. In Kingman, you're almost there. Boulder City's already there. We've got enough heat, got enough moisture to cook up some thunderstorms today. Highs definitely will be climbing above normal. Some neighborhoods near 110, officially at 108. It will stay hot into the weekend. 104 is the normal, and we'll be well above that as we get through your Friday and Saturday. And then we'll have a drier influence coming into the west. A system in the northwest will help kind of scour out some of this monsoon moisture and give us a southwesterly flow. Look how wet from the Gulf Coast all the way through the eastern quarter of the country. There have been flash flood watches and warnings through parts of the deep south and up again to the northeast. They had so much rain in that part of the country last week. So we still have the opportunity for thunderstorms. Yesterday, we saw them firing up and just kind of anchored over the Spring Mountains. They didn't really penetrate the valley. It's like we've got this invisible force field of heat. Once those cells start hitting that layer of heat over the valley, everything just kind of falls apart, and those thunderstorms don't seem to hold together. But we can't rule out that we may not have a spotty shower or thunderstorm today as everything passes through. But here's that drier air. As this large trough now moves into the Pacific Northwest, it will develop a drier southwesterly flow for the deserts, and that will help sweep that monsoon moisture away. Unfortunately, it won't be good news for all of the wildfires in the west, where they've got some like the Ferguson fire in central California. Look at that, nearly 60,000 acres and over 110,000 acres now up there near Redding. So they really could use some rain. 85 up at Mount Charleston, 108 for the valley. Not much in the way of wind. We've got a little southerly breeze out there, but again, we've got enough heat and humidity for a chance of storms today. Then drier as we get into the weekend. Sunny, but still hot for our first weekend of August at 107.
All right, thanks, Sherry. Time is now 12:17 on your Wednesday afternoon, and let's be real, some of you are already daydreaming about the weekend. Let Nate Tannenbaum help you out. From summoning your inner Trekkie to shooting for beer pong glory, we've got the details in this week's Nate on the Town. Next on 8 News Now, the Valley's news leader.
Wednesday's talk is Bionic with the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner, plus Mandy Moore. The talk
Sponsored by Shepherd Eye Center. You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
While we're celebrating Hump Day, it's never too late to start planning for the weekend. Nate on the Town can be your guide.
Well, let's get this started. Trekkies already know this, but the official Star Trek convention is underway. Starting today, running through Sunday down at the Rio. Of course, they've got celebrity sightings. You got to love the costume contest. But check this out. The pool over at the Rio is going to be showing a different Star Trek movie each night. Convention tickets, $50 online. Maybe you want to try the pomp and pageantry of the four-legged kind on display at the Gala of Royal Horses. This is Friday and Saturday down at the South Point. Tickets starting at $25 for general admission. The largest and longest-running fighting video game tournaments this weekend at Mandalay Bay. They call it the Evo Series. Starts Friday. Championship is on Sunday. You do have to buy tickets. That's also available online. Let's go down to Boulder City for the Boulder Dam Brewery and their annual Dog Days of Summer Beer Pong Tournament. That's Saturday night at 8. Registration is $40. It does get you a lot of beer. That's $40 per team. Grand prize, $200 for the winners and the coveted beer pong trophies. Back to you.
Well, up next, a shakeup could be coming for the game show industry. The idea one legendary host is toying with once his contract expires. Those details coming up in just a few.
The Neighborhood, Mondays this fall. You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
The Star Trek convention has beamed to the convention center. Coming up today on Las Vegas Now, Kendall goes inside to get transformed into a Klingon. And gets serenaded with the smooth sounds of Earl Turner and Clint Holmes, the special offer they have for teachers here in the Valley. Question, which legendary host could soon step down from hosting Jeopardy? Answer, the man you see on your screen. Alex Trebek tells Fox News there's a 50% chance he could step down by the end of 2020. Trebek has been the face of Jeopardy since 1984, but for now, you can catch Trebek on Jeopardy right here on Channel 8, weeknights at 7 p.m. following our 6 o'clock newscast.
That was kind of trippy. Did you see how he aged right before our eyes?
I know.
He started out with the curly hair and the big dark mustache.
I don't know if I can imagine that show without him, though.
I know. I can't believe he's been on there that long, but you're right. What's Jeopardy without Alex Trebek? Right. What's August without a lot of heat? That's the question.
That's true.
And we've got plenty of it as we head into the weekend, but we will dry out a little bit, so at least we don't have to be watching the skies for storms, just worrying about cooling off into Saturday and Sunday.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry, and thanks for watching 8 News Now live at noon.
Bye-bye.